Thanks for doing this, Dominic.
Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see the screen. So are there any projects you're currently working on?
So I'm a Year Here fellow. Year Here is a platform to build solutions to solve inequalities in society, and we're currently in our venture phase. So I can see the screen. But yeah, I'm currently trying to see if I can figure out how to build an app for community, like maybe a rewards platform type of thing. Yeah. So anything like that would be useful. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm into now.
Okay, so this will be perfect for you. To give you some context, I am going to, so I use no code, and hello Studio 41, hopefully you can hear me. I use no code to build a platform for missing Black people. It gained lots of traction, gained lots of media attention. I am now working with the police and a lot of the big charities to kind of bridge the gap. No code has helped me. I am a developer, have developer experience, but I wouldn't have been able to ship as fast and build as quickly without no code. And what we're going to be building today is a mobile application for this, or at least the beginnings of a mobile application. And a lot of the features and walkthrough I will show you will be perfect for what you're trying to build, especially when it comes to social impact. And so we're going to use a tool called Adalo. Adalo is a free tool for you to build using no code, and you can actually deploy to the Google Play and App Store now. I have apps built with Adalo that are deployed in the App Store. You can build from templates, or you can start from scratch. I think we're going to start from scratch today. They have some interesting plugins and way to use it. You can build like audio features to create your own kind of, I guess, Spotify in a way, or some kind of podcasting type app. You can embed iframes and have interesting micro learning apps that are built. Or what we're going to do today is build a news app. So we're going to start by logging in, and like I said, it's free. The paid version allows you to export. I have a paid version now. It allows you to export to the App Store. It allows you to export to the Google Play Store. But even if you have the free version, you can test it using a progressive web app. So the progressive web app is free. Let's just log in. So what we're going to do, it takes you to this dashboard, but I have so many apps here. So we're going to create a new app, and you can either create a desktop web app or a native mobile app. I almost exclusively use this for native mobile. And you can start with a template. So you can start with a coaching template, chat, appointments, to-do list. All of these things you can embed in your app anyway, but we're going to start from scratch. And I'm going to call this, what am I going to call this app? Let's just call it Missing People app. And we start by creating some initial branding, some initial branding colors. So if I can just move this. I think it's Studio 41. Studio 41, if you have any questions, just feel free to type it in the chat. It's okay, you don't have to unmute. So we create this initial kind of color scheme, and then we go ahead and click create. So Adalo, like many other no-code platforms, are drag and drop. And so you don't need to code at all. You get given a lot of these components. Some of the components you can actually install. These are kind of additional ones. If we quickly explore the marketplace, you can embed a map, calendar, image sliders, sign in with Google, lots of different things, YouTube. You can make a Tinder-like app with this deck swiper. Yeah. The audio players, what I was talking about, the podcasting like feature, but yeah, they have lots of really cool things you can add to your app if you want to add that. But I think for our app today, we're not going to add any of those. Initially, what it gives you is this workspace. And in this workspace, if we zoom out a little bit, by default, it gives you a sign up, login, and home. And on the left panel, it gives you a bunch of widgets, a bunch of options. So you can adjust the branding and colors, which we did initially. You can adjust the fonts if we want to change to, let's see. I'm probably going to keep it the same for now. Oh, let's see if they have the font I like. Okay, this is the font I like to use. And the only downside about no code or some no code tools or Adalo is that the design flexibility isn't as flexible as a lot of people want it. A lot of new people to no code will want it. But when you're creating an MVP, especially in a short amount of time, relatively cheap, that's probably not your biggest concern, the branding and design. You have a tab to manage the screens. We can add a screen from here, or we can add a screen from this menu here, which we'll go over in a little bit. You have a database. So you can either store your database in Adalo itself, or you can store it externally and connect it via APIs. That's your choice, whether you store it in an actual coded database or you store it in Google Sheets or Airtable, that's up to you. But you can connect it using APIs and automations like Zapier and Integromat and Parabola. And hopefully you're familiar with some of these tools, but these kind of automation tools act as a glue between applications. But fortunately, for what we're going to do, we don't need to store our data anywhere else. We have settings. This is where we have our app settings, where we can create app icon. We can change access, change the display settings. And we have publish. So when we're ready to publish, we can publish our progressive web app for free. But when we want to do iOS, and it has this option because I have a paid account, but when we want to do iOS, then we have to upgrade our account. And obviously it has analytics here. Now getting started, and I want to watch the time. Now getting started with this initial screen that it provides us. Fortunately for us, it provides us a lot of preset components. Some of these preset components being the sign up, login, and home. It's amazing providing us the sign up and login because it does a lot of this. If we change the color, because you can't actually see, we're going to change some of the colors here because you can't see a button. So yeah, we're going to change that. So it provides us this form, sign up, login, and it provides us this logic to begin with. As you can see, when I go back to database, it provides us our initial collection, and this is our users collection. So a collection is just a group of data. Think about users, or if you're creating a business directory, it could be businesses, or it could be universities. It's just a group of data. And what it does, it provides us this initially. So when a user signs in, it's going to automatically add this user to this collection. And the reason it's doing this is because we have a form component, as you can see, a form component. And this form component by default has been mapped to the users collection, and it signs the user up once they enter their details. We can add more fields. We can make automatic fields. We're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it for now. And also you can see there's an automation that when the user clicks sign up, it signs the user up and it links to the home screen. Does that make sense so far?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's a similar thing with the login screen.
Sounds good.
Perfect. It's a similar thing with the login screen, that we have this kind of preset that Adalo provides us. We could also make this if we wanted to make this, but why make it if it provides it for us? There's also something that's important to note. This sign up screen, we can see the details of the screen here, and it has a screen navigation type. So there are 3 screen navigation types. One is a home screen, which is our home screen here. And it says it's the first screen if a user is logged in, they come directly to this home screen. The welcome screen is the first screen if a user is not logged in, which is the sign up screen. And then you have your normal screen, which is like this login screen. This is important in case you want to add some additional onboarding flow. Sometimes if you visit some apps, they have a couple screens before you actually get to this sign up page. You might want to create something like that. But in our app, we are not going to do anything like that. So we want to create a news app. How are we going to start by creating a news app? We're going to start by creating a collection. And I'm going to call my collection articles. And in my articles collection, I want a couple things. And I want to make sure I note this. Anytime you create a new collection, it gives you a text entry by default. So I'm going to rename this headline. And I'm going to add another property. So when you create data, or when you create properties for data, you can give it a number, true, false, time, day, image, file. It has each piece of data has like a different type. It's a different form. And for me, for every article, I want to display the headline. And I also want to display the publisher. And I also want to potentially display the date. And let's just add one more thing. Let's just display the image too. Next, what we want to do is we want to start by adding a record. So I am going to find an article to add a record. So all I have to do is click add new article. I'm going to go here. And let's see. This Evening Standard. So in the UK here, the Evening Standard did an article on the project. So I didn't create a URL field. We're going to come back and create a URL field in a minute. So I just add my headline here. All I'm doing is copy and pasting. And while I do this, feel free to ask any questions about Adalo or about no code in general. I'm just creating my first entry. I'm not sure when they published this, May the 24th. So let's do it back. So we're gonna go to we're gonna find May the 24th. We're going to find an image. I guess they use this as a cover image. So we're just going to use this as a cover image because they used it as a cover image. Oh, no. I'm going to take a screenshot because I don't think this is an image. So what I'm going to do now is add this image. I do need another field. I need another field that's an actual link to the article, so I can display the whole article inside my app. But for right now, I got all the information that I want, I believe. And we have to render this information on our homepage. To do this, I'm going to add a component that allows me to render the information. But before I add a component, I just want to show you some of the components. To find the components, you click this plus sign in the top left corner, and you can see you have a bunch of components you can add that are pre-made, whether it's a simple list, text, what do we have here? Navigation bar, tab bar, list, which is what we're going to use, different types of buttons, different types of forms and fields, shapes. But what we're going to do is use lists, and it gives us a couple options for a list. And what we are going to do, we are going to add this card list here. So we want to drag that just there. And anytime you add a list, you have to tell Adalo what it's a list of. And we know it's a list of articles. And we can add a filter to display only certain types of articles. We can display articles the user has access to. There's all different types of filters we can add, but we're not going to add any filters for now. Sorting, we can create sorting. We can see the date, oldest to newest, but we want newest to oldest. So we're going to sort it by newest to oldest. We only have one item here, so it's not a big deal. Next, we are going to map the data. So as you can see, it started to map some of this automatically, but here it didn't map this automatically. So we're going to change that magic text, and we're going to do publisher as the subtitle, and maybe as the body, we're going to do the date. And then as the image, we're going to map it to our image. So it's very, very simple. All we have to do is go to database, current article, and image, and it's done that automatically. So we're just going to preview this and take a look. I think we lost somebody. Or maybe not. We're going to preview and take a look at this. So right now I'm previewing it in Adalo. We can change how it looks here in terms of like the type of screen that it's going to display on. But we're going to keep it for iPad right now, or iPhone right now. So I haven't created an account, so I need to sign up. So now I sign up, and it takes me home. And as you can see, it shows the information. Now it hasn't rendered my image. I have to go back and see why it hasn't rendered my image. Maybe I didn't upload my image right. So let's see. There's no image right here. So I don't think I uploaded the image correctly. So let's try to do this again. Okay. We'll try and save this. Okay. So when we go to preview again, it should render our image. So now we got our image, but when we click on this, nothing happens. We want something to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another screen. In this other screen I'm going to create, I am going to call it article details. And I'm going to do something interesting that Adalo allows me to do. I'm going to add, if I could find it, I want to add a frame. I don't think I have to install it. It's under one of these. Let's check if I have to install it. Let's try to find maybe a simple, okay, web view. So I'm adding a web view right now, and I have to give it a URL. But I want my URL to be dynamic. I want it to be relative to whatever article the user clicks on. To do that, I have to have something. I have to have the data for the URL as a property in my database. So I'm going to add a property called URL, and I'm going to update my record to have the URL. So now it has my URL, and I have to link this particular card that the user clicks on to this page. The way I do that is by adding an action here. For most, if not all components, you can add an action when the user clicks on it. So I can add an action. Different things can happen when I add this action. So you can share, change input value, you can do lots of different stuff, but we want to link this to article details screen. And this is the important part. We want to link to the article details screen. You can change the transition if you want to change the transition. We'll keep it the same, but you want to send data. You want to send the current article data. And it sets this up automatically for us. So we have to do very, very little. The reason we want to send the data automatically is because, and I actually made a slight mistake that we're going to correct. The reason you want to save data automatically is because when it goes to this page, you want it to automatically open the website or the news article in the app. And the way you do this is by clicking on the frame we just added, clicking on the magic text, and you can say, I want to pull the current articles URL. And just to clarify what we just did, we said, when you click on this particular card or item, send whatever data from that card or item to this page. And now we sent it to this page, we can reference it and say, open this particular URL. And what I've done wrong is that I want something to allow me to go back. So I'm going to copy this top home page. I'm going to remove the top right icon, and I'm going to remove the title. And I'm going to add a left icon that allows me to go back. So all I have to do is say back. And again, if I want it to go back, I have to give it an action. Anytime you want it to do something, you have to give it an action. So we're going to link and link back. Just adjust this a little bit. I think I have to pull this down a little bit more. And so we're going to preview our app again. So we're logged in, so it should take us to our home page. Just rendering and just loading. So it's taken us to our home page, and we click on this, and it hasn't opened even in standard. So let's actually review what happened. So I'm going to try a couple things here to try and fix this. It might be a really weird URL. Or it might be the web page that's blocking iframes. So we're going to try again. Maybe refuse to connect again. Yeah, I think it's refusing to connect again. So we're actually going to find another article and try again. Try to think about another article. Maybe the independent. Oh, that's the same thing. And it wasn't the Guardian, it was the independent. So we're going to search the Guardian this time. I'm going to select a random article and try to use that. Just to demonstrate, because we do have limited time, we have about 15 minutes, and I want to leave some time for questions. So what we're going to do, we're going to adjust the URL. And if that doesn't work, I'll just send it to a normal Google URL just to show you. So we click OK. And it's not connecting. That is not good. Let's try Google. So it seems like there's another issue going on there. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do something a little bit different. When the user clicks, we don't want to link it. We want to connect, link to a website, and the website URL is this URL we've created. And let's try it now. Ideally, I want to, so yeah, it's showing up in Google now. And so we're going to go back and correct this. Does anyone have any questions while I make these corrections? I'm not sure if you have any questions relative to the program that you're in and what you're currently working on.
Just out of curiosity, is there any way you'd be able to like populate the articles automatically? Or yeah, like an RSS feed, exactly. Read my mind.
Yeah, just with that is the way I'll do that is using an automation with Zapier. You have to have a source that you probably trust to scrape from, or multiple sources that you probably trust to scrape from. and you could populate it like that. So you would have to, you can't do all of that natively to this. You would have to use Zapier or some kind of automation tool that's going to do the scraping for you. And so
Thank you.
There's 10 minutes left in the meeting. Are there any questions you have? Anything you want to see specifically? What I've shown you is the bare bones basics. I've shown you the login, sign up, shown you the design, shown you about creating a collection and a database, and shown you how to actually display that data and get it to do things. Is there anything in particular that you would like to see that you think, oh, can no code do this, or can this particular tool do this?
At the beginning, you chose to do a mobile app in contrast to a web app. Would a web app allow you to scale down to a phone as well as have a website view, or like what would be the difference between that?
Yeah, Adalo's web apps were responsive. I think the difference between this mobile app in Adalo is you can actually export to the App Store. So, and the Google Play Store too. So if you choose to build with a web app, you can't export that. I think there's another question. You wanted to know how embeds work. So I'll actually open another project because we have limited time. And this project was a test. It's really interesting, and it's going to seem a little bit crazy, but this is an embed. This is an embed with a tool called 7taps. And 7taps is a micro-learning tool. You can create micro-learning courses. And I've embedded 7taps into Adalo. And at least if I take the time to create a course or courses, I can easily create a micro-learning application using this embed. And all the embed is, it's just the embed with this URL. You have to be contingent that not all websites allow you to embed. And my guess is the ones I try to use didn't allow me to embed. But this one works. So if I show you this, I removed the sign in and login screen. This was just me testing, embedding this. So this is 7taps in here. And what you can actually see, this is like a micro-learning thing that it's a micro-learning platform that I basically just embedded one of the courses into my app. And I've actually selected this previously, so it won't let me select again. But you can create quizzes. There's actually sound bites you can put in.
Zoom and Skype are the platforms that will be.
You can't actually hear, I'm not sure if you can hear that. But yeah, that's about the embed. So you can embed different things. That's the website embed, but also you can have, I'm trying to think, do I have a project for it? I'm not sure if I have a project for it, but you can embed music and video. Oh, I do have one where I've embedded videos. So I actually did put this in the App Store just to test the whole process. But this app was an app, and this actually has slightly more functionality than the one we just did. But this app was an app to see upcoming releases on Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. So if it quickly loads, I'll be able to show you I've embedded videos, and I actually have this kind of initial screen. You can select next, next, get started. I think I should already be signed up. Hopefully. No. A newsletter is cool too. A newsletter is cool too. I definitely think there's, you know, it really depends on your audience and your purpose for building. With the Missing Black People, with the Missing Black People project, I started with like a regular website, and I did get asked about an app lots of times, but so far it seemed like the website was good enough for this particular project. Let's see. I'm probably getting my username and password wrong. Invalid. I can't even log into my own app. So crazy. Okay. Okay, we try one more time because it's ridiculous. Okay, I can't log in, but hopefully I might actually be able to show you from my phone directly. Hopefully you can see. Okay. Hopefully you can see this on my phone, but I have a similar list. When I click on one of I have a drop down menu to filter Amazon or Hulu, and I've embedded the trailer from YouTube, and it plays the trailer when you click on the trailer. Very, very simple. Easy to make, very simple. And it's one of the reasons Adalo is great. You can take a weekend and you can get them out really, really quick. I think that is it. If you have any questions, we have about 3 minutes left.
Just to confirm, you said you can embed an entire website in Adalo.
Yeah, you can embed a website. That's what the iframe is about.
Got you.
I should have another one here somewhere where I've embedded. Okay, scholarship tracker. So we got 2 minutes. I don't even think I put a login on this one. I don't think I did. So we can track. Again, this is something you can actually go to. I think this is on the App Store and the Google Play Store. But this is another basic, very, very basic app. If I log in, that I've, again, used the embed, and I've done a similar thing where I've kind of curated scholarships. And if we go, we can see scholarships, and I click on this, and it has the website embedded. I'll go back, click on this one. And again, it has the website embedded. Just keeping in mind, not every website allows you to embed it, but this particular app, I added a feature where I have this menu. You can click on this. Do you want to save the scholarship? You save the scholarship. And if you open this menu, featured, save, search, you can go to save, and you can see you're saved. You click on this. Do you want to remove the scholarship? And you remove it from your save section. So play around with Adalo enough, watch the videos, watch this video back. And I think Adalo is a good way to jump in to making native applications without coding. And you don't have to have the premium version. So you can start with the progressive web app. And if you like that, I believe there is actually a trial before you actually start paying. For Google Play, to have a developer account on a Google Play is £25, or where I am, £24 for life. For Apple, it's about 100 a year. Relatively straightforward way to deploy. We have less than a minute left. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hopefully it was helpful. And I think connect with Max more. I'll be doing more workshops just like this about Chrome extensions and different types of things.
This was great, man. I've been thinking about building a couple of apps, and I'm wondering about, should I go with Adalo? Should I go with Bubble? I did try Glide for a while,
Yeah.
But I think Adalo seems like a more advanced version than a Glide, because Glide is all backend in a. This seems really interesting, and thanks a lot for the session, man.
No problem. I think I actually started my no code journey with Glide. Perfect.